Right, here we go with some hints for homework sheet 10. First question, both parts are using BODMAS. It's something we should know. It tells us the order that we do things. So for the first part, there's a divide sum in there, 1.8 divide 4. So the first thing you're going to do is that. Once you get your answer for that, then you're going to do you need to make it 3.10, take away your answer to get your final answer. Second part, we've got some brackets. So again, the first thing we need to do here is 2/5 add 1 1/3. So you do all your calculations for that and you'll end up with an answer. Now in mathematics, off is just a fancy way of saying times. So once you've got your answer for the first part, this part here, then we do 3/4 times whatever that fraction was. Do your cancelling and you should get a nice answer for that. Question 2, change the subject. Well, since we're trying to get the subject to be V, then first thing we need to do is get everything over to that left hand side. So I'm going to swap the whole thing round about to be u plus v squared over w equals p, and then all I've got to do is say the u has to go over, the w has to go over. That's going to leave us with v squared equals something. So to get rid of the v squared, then we just square root whatever's on that side. So u over, the w over, and then square root to get rid of the squared for your final answer. Question 3, rewriting this as a single fraction. Well, the denominator becomes x times 3x minus 4, and then a wee bit of cross multiplying gives you what should be on the top. And then once you've got what's on the top, if you do a wee bit of simplifying, you'll get your final answer. The bottom stays as x times 3x minus 4, just the top it changes. Question 4, simplifying the surds. First of all, keep the 2. Root 27 is going to be root 9 times root 3. Take away, and then you simplify the root 12 in the same way. Now root 9, you should know, is 3. So that becomes 2 times 3 times root 3. Take away whatever you've got here, do the 2 times the 3, simplify it all out, and you'll get your answer. Now question B, or part B I should say, is rationalising the denominator. How do you rationalise the denominator? Well, instead of having a root 10 on the bottom, we want to get rid of that root sign, and the only way we do it is to multiply the top and bottom by root 10. There's not a lot we can do with the top, it just stays as 4 times root 10. The bottom, root 10 times root 10, that just becomes 10. And a wee bit of cancelling gets your answer. Question 5, simultaneous equations. Not much to say about these, you know how to do them. Just remember we're looking for two answers, x equals, y equals. On to the calculator. Now the first one isn't a calculator question. Find the equation of a straight line. Now to find the equation of a straight line, we're going to use the formula y minus b equals mx minus a. So that means for that formula we need to work out what m is, and we need to work out what point AB is. Now if we deal with the point AB first of all, that's quite easy. We just pick one of the 2 points that we started with. And I'm just going to pick the first one, minus 2, 3. Now how do we work out the gradient? Well, we use the gradient formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Where do these numbers come from? They come from this being x1, y1, this being x2, y2. So if you now put these numbers and these numbers into this formula, that's going to give you what the gradient is. Once you've got the gradient, you just substitute it in here for m. That goes in there for a, and that goes in there for b. And then you can just tidy it all up to get your answer at the end. Question 2, solve the equation. we know that we need to write it as x squared minus 3x minus 1 is 0. Identify your a, b and c. Put them all into the formula. Negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. Remember, we need to write the unrounded answer before we round. So write the unrounded answer, so whatever your calculator says, and then write down your answers x equals and x equals. Remember, it's 3 significant figures, so I shouldn't see any more than 3 numbers in your answers. Question 3. Okay, now we have a formula that says the area of that sector is the angle at the middle, which I'm going to call alpha, divided by 360 times pi r squared. Okay, the question tells us what the area is, so we can put that in here. We're trying to work out alpha, so we can't put anything in there. Pi times, and the question tells us what the radius is, so we can put that in there. Now all we need to do is work out what alpha is. So alpha, we need to take the 360 over, we need to take the times pi over, and we need to take the times radius squared over. And if you take all them over, you're left with alpha. You'll get what alpha is. Now remember, alpha is this angle here in the diagram. Look in the diagram. This angle, that's what the angle alpha is. That's not what you're asked in the question. So for you to work out angle A, you need to do 360 minus whatever angle you've just found up there. Question 4, just done these in class, so this should be okay. So rewrite as sine x equals and tan x equals. Now this one's one of the special angles, so we need to remember the sine graph. That tells us the answer to that question. This one, tan is equal to a negative number, so if it's equal to a negative number, you should know which two to tick and then find out the answers to get x equals. So here we're looking for 2 answers. In the first one, we're just looking for 1 answer. And hopefully that will get you through the homework nice and easy.